Hey guys, welcome back. Modern Meditation, Canadian Love. So in our last video, we talked about creating the space in which to communicate with our minds. But of course, for the space to be useful, first we need to empty out what is already in that space. So let's talk about letting go. Now the good news is, this is probably something you are already intuitively doing. I mean, you have to, otherwise you will go crazy. And people have all kinds of different methods of doing this. When you exercise, that really pulls your mind into the physical being of your body and pulls you into the moment, and that's a way to shake some things loose. When you channel your emotions into the exercise, like punching a bag with fury, or when you channel emotion into creativity and creation, that's a way to process things, let things go. When you take a sip of coffee as you watch a golden sunrise and a deep breath and you're really in the moment, all of these little moments of intuitive meditation are really positive. And the good news is that means you're already doing this. That being said, your mind is like any other space. Think of a kitchen. If you clean regularly and deliberately, it's going to be a joy to cook in. If you only wash the occasional dish when you need that specific dish until things pile up and then you have a panic attack and you're sobbing as you wash as many dishes as possible because somebody's coming over and you actually need some kitchen processing space, things are going to be much more challenging. Now, the recipe for mental letting go is simple. First, you just want to take some time aside for your brain to talk to you, and just set that time aside deliberately and try to relax, and don't worry about bringing forth the ingredients or the topics. Your brain will do that, guaranteed. There are systems within your psyche that have stuff they want to talk about. So you just need to relax, try to be as relaxed, as empty as possible, and your brain will bring up the things to talk about. Now, the second step is harder. You don't want to get pulled into the thoughts that your brain brings up, which is very easy. You want to investigate them. And to investigate them takes a little bit of a step away, a detachment, an awareness of the mental space, so that you can start to try to understand where things come from. Think of it like your brain is a crying witness and you're a detective. And I was holding the body, and then she looked at me and she said, "Mr. Freckles deserved to die." Oh, that sounds terrible. It sounds like she really cut you to the core. Listen, tell me more about how Mrs. Jerry made you feel, and also, do you think these feelings are related to the emotions that you had when Muffy was hit by that car in grade 7? It's that feeling, and you're asking yourself questions, and you're trying to see what your brain, what else comes into your mind when you're thinking about this thing, and it'll gradually trigger other things and pull together this web of information until you get to this third step, which is a point where you can assess the value of what your brain is saying. See, your brain is a beautiful, brilliant thing. The systems in your psyche are trying to help you. When they have something to bring up, they're bringing it up because they want to help. The key is to figure out, what is the value here? What is the takeaway? Oh, thank you for that story. I see that I should text an apology to Mrs. Jerry, set some limits with my mother about personal time, and I don't think I have space in my life for a new cat. Thank you, brain. Check, check, check. When you assess the value, you really neutralize these thoughts because you are getting the use out of them that your brain wanted to bring. And that makes it really easy to let go. And the final step of letting go is gratitude. So that's the basic process. Let your brain bring stuff forwards, assess it, figure out where it's coming from, try to understand the value that it brings, say thank you, let go, move on to the next. The cool thing is that it's not just true for meditation and your brain, it's true for a variety of situations. Think about the idea of being let go of from a job for whatever reason. In the ideal situation, you have an open, honest, frank, but kind exit interview where your employer will say, "Hey, you know what, thank you so much," there's that gratitude again, "for being here, for being a part of that team. Here are some things that you brought that were really great. Please keep doing those things. Here are some things that you could probably work on. Just saying, maybe you should work on those things." And then you can leave that job going, wow, I've got some things to work on. I've got some things I know I'm doing well, and I feel appreciated. Thank you so much for having me at this job until this time. Thank you. And that last little piece of gratitude lets you go, yeah, you know what? Here's what I got from this job, and so long and thanks for all the cash. Have a great life. And that really helps the letting go process be smooth, and also sets you up for success in your next position. Isn't that what you want inside of your own brain? Of course, what you want to avoid is getting pulled back into the negative emotions from the past, or pulled back into the situation or the thought and then not letting go. Something that I would call, in an office setting, the Michael Scott fallacy. So how do you avoid that fallacy and make sure that you're letting go of what you want to let go of? Well, gratitude, 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 gratitude. When you are looking at things with gratitude, you are looking at what you have and what you gained from it and what you lost for it or sacrificed in exchange for it. You're looking at that in a very real and positive way with a mindset of what do you want more of and not want less of. And that's going to help you get to where you want, which if that's letting go of a thought, then that's letting go of a thought. And sometimes you shouldn't break up, or you shouldn't let go of a thought quite yet because it's still tugging at you and it still has more to give you, but you're not going to be able to assess that accurately from a place of worry and fear. So just find something about it to be grateful, keep assessing it until you find a takeaway, and then be grateful for that takeaway. And that process will get you through it. See, what Michael Scott does is instead of assessing where they're coming from and the positives and negatives, he gets pulled in right into the trenches, the slugs, the emotions, and he starts going, oh wow, I'm making this person feel bad, now I feel bad, I can't handle feeling bad, you know what, this, surprise, it's a joke. Just wanted to show the intern how we roll if we were firing someone, and that would have been you if we were firing you, but we're not. And then you end up continuing to not let go of this thing and being in whatever bad situation you have. You really don't want that. In a relationship setting, I would call this the on-again, off-again fallacy, where you start talking and you go, oh, and and I'm so grateful that we blah, 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 and then in your head you start going, oh my goodness, what if I never find someone else who blah, blah, blah ever again? Oh my God, I don't think I can live without blah, blah, blah. I know we're not right for each other, but I need blah, 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 and you're the only one who can give it to me. Do you want to just, have sex and start again? So how do we make sure that we are maintaining gratitude and not getting pulled into the negative emotions of the thoughts that our brain is bringing to us to examine? Well, it helps to have a bit of spatial awareness of the process itself inside of your mind. Or if you want to think about it as a little bit of detachment so that you're seeing where the thoughts are coming in from and where they're going afterwards. Think of it like a king holding court in the Middle Ages. The king would be up on a dais seeing where people come in from, and then the peasant says, oh, I need blah, 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 and the king says, well, he does come from that one village that has had a drought. Vizier, write down blah, 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 and thank you so much for coming in to make us aware of your problem. I wish you all the best of luck. Next supplicant, please. And that ties beautifully into our next video, which will be going through the process of exactly this, of creating the space to let things go, to create more space for our brain to communicate with us/itself. So if you'll stay with me for yet another video, let's dive in. And now I'm all alone, but I don't know why. Oh wait, because you broke my freaky heart, and then you said my cat should die.